Memories in the corner of my mind. Memories of the way we were. Of the way we were. Can somebody please tell me what the is going on? Yes. It's Boxing Talk with Rafi. Late night Boxing Talk with Rafi. Boxing Talk with Rafi after dark. Why? Why are you doing so? Why are you doing this to yourself, Rafi? Why are you doing a non-scheduled show? Why? This wasn't on the itinerary. Well, I was sitting at the computer. There's lots of things to get to. Compiling information, data. I just thought to myself, I had the itch. I had that itch to get on. Why not? I thought, why not get on? Why not do a live? And here I am. It's a Friday. It's after midnight. Actually, it's 1 a.m. in the morning. Friday night, Saturday morning over here in the UK. Yeah, there's some things to chop up. So I thought, hell yes. Why not? And just to allow, I don't know if anybody's going to come. It's an unusual, highly unusual time, but it's okay. We're going to get into it. Marla up in the building. It's an unscheduled one, Marla. But I was compiling some information. I had the itch to do this. Yes. There are people populating the area, but to help the area populate even more, just going to give you a short segment, call it what you will, of the latest video. We're going to be talking more about this. So without much further ado, let's do the warming video. And for any people joining us during the course of the video, yes, AD up in the building, doing an unscheduled one. 2 p.m. over here. Good time for a chat, says Marla. Well, that's all good. For people just coming in, let me warm in video. Warming video playing. Boom. Okay. 11 a.m. here. 11 a.m. Where are you? Where are you? Pronto Boxing. Where is it 11 a.m.? What's your territory? Okay. Right. So let's get in with the warming video and then we will commence with the show. Okay. Let me do this. Let me share my, what is this? What's this application window thing? What would happen if I did that? Nah, not today. Let's do it how we know how to do it. Let's go. Well, first of all, let's kill the music. Boom. And let's go get the volume up on this. Yep. And let's go full screen and let us play the warming video. And do I have news for you?
See, Lou Dibella strikes again. Lou Dibella strikes at the heart of the PBC Premier Boxing Champions. And I think it's the second time within 24 hours Lou Dibella exposes the PBC. I'm going to let you hear the audio. Nobody's picked up on it yet. So you're hearing it first on Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. It's crazy. It is simply crazy. But without much further ado, I'm not going to tell you about it. I'm just going to let the man tell his story himself. So take it away, Lou Dibella. The stage is yours and set. Let's go.
I was never under the illusion that no matter what the offer was from Dazn, that if it was that a deal was going to happen. I just wanted to make sure everything was sort of on the table, and it didn't shock me that the election was made to stay at PBC. You know, how the principal of PBC is also Deontay's co-manager, so there's nothing about that was surprising to me.
Damn. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Lou Dibella clearly states that he was not surprised that the deal with Dazn didn't go through. He was not surprised. He didn't believe Al Heyman, Shelly Finkel, PBC had any intention of accepting the Dazn offer, even though they were right there in the Dazn offices, in the Dazn meeting, listening to Dazn offer Deontay Wilder $100 million for 3 fights. It did not surprise Lou Dibella that they didn't accept the offer. He says he don't believe they had any intention of accepting the offer. My. So why? Why attend the damn offices when you have no intention of accepting the offer? You didn't want to deal with the Dazn. You didn't want Deontay Wilder on the zone. Told Deontay Wilder that was Floyd Mayweather training camp money. Refused to meet. Get this lined up properly. Refused to meet with Eddie Hearn, Matchroom, to discuss their offer. Complete and utter deceptive behavior on the part of PBC. Just going up to the Dazn offices with what purpose? What was the intention? What was the intent? Because it was clear to me, I always believed that you weren't interested. You weren't interested in the Matchroom offers. You weren't interested in the Dazn offer. You weren't interested in taking the offer. Like I said before, and I'll say it again. You were only on a fishing expedition. You were fishing for information. You wanted to know how much Anthony Joshua would get in comparison to how much they were offering the boy, Wilder. And I believe the intention was you simply wanted to get a figure from the Dazn so that you could use that as leverage to get bigger purses, bigger offers, bigger contracts with the guys you're in business with. Showtime, Fox. Although I think Showtime are not so interested in you anymore. You're not profitable enough. So Showtime, they've kind of taken themselves, they've kind of put themselves to one side. They're not turning enough of a profit with you. They're talking about loyalty and take their money and then hop over to Fox, take Deontay Wilder over to Fox. The reason you were at the Dazn was to find out how much they were offering merely merely so you could use that figure as a bargaining tool. That's all. You don't want to see Deontay Wilder over on the zone. Not for a minute. Much less one fight, much less two, much less three. You're not interested in that. That's not in your business plan. That don't fall within your business plan. Your business plan is to keep your PBC champions PBC. Keep the champions in-house. Keep the belts in-house. So you can service your TV deals with a certain number of championship fights per year. It was all bluff and bluster. I keep on telling people, and all of the people who tell me that Anthony Joshua should take, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? All of the people who keep telling me that Anthony Joshua should give Deontay Wilder 50%, basically saying that Anthony Joshua should take money out of his pocket and put it in the next man's pocket. Just what? Why? Just so the next guy don't get hurt feelings that the other guy's got more ice cream than him. The other guy's got more ice cream than him in his plate, in his bowl. Huh? Is that what it is? Josh has already come out and said, yeah, it don't make sense to me. Somebody's going to have to explain how that makes sense. And it don't make sense. And furthermore, PBC were never interested in taking the fight. Didn't want to meet. No meeting. What do I want to meet for? They only wanted to know about the money so they could use that figure for themselves on their own platform. I keep on telling people, I'm going to use this analogy to demonstrate my point. If Anthony Joshua ever said, yeah, 50%, if he was ever sitting in their midst and said, okay, yeah, fine, 50%, sign the contract, they'd say, wait, you want 50% and your shoes? I'd say, what, my shoes? I said, yeah, you want 50% and those shoes you wear. I said, you want 50% and these shoes that I'm wearing, and then we'd have the contract, we'd have the deal. You'll sign. And they say, yeah, we'd sign. And I say, okay, I'll have them mailed to you. And I'd say, no, we want them now. We want you to walk out of these offices barefoot. So we're going to need them socks too. Do you see? Do you see now? Do you see now what kind of people you're dealing with? It's like trying to beg a girl to go out with you. She might say, yeah, go and jump in that river naked. And if you did it, she'd just come back and laugh at you. What a sap you are. And 50%, yeah, to me, you'd have to be a sap to accept that. When you know full damn well they have no interest or intention of fighting you. So you're doing the right thing, AJ. I'm doing the right thing. Lou Dibella came out and said, clear as a bell. He was not surprised that they walked out of that meeting without a deal. As a matter of fact, let's hear from the man again himself one more time. And then I am out. It's Raphael Dawkins. It's the Combat Radio. It's the like. It's the subscribe. It's the comments. It's the shares. And it is the hitting that bell icon to stay updated with news and notifications. Okay. Lou Dibella.
I was never under the illusion that no matter what the offer was from Dazn, that if it was that a deal was going to happen. I just wanted to make sure everything was sort of on the table, and it didn't shock me that the election was made to stay at PBC. You know, hell, the principal of PBC is also Deontay's co-manager, so there's nothing about that was surprising to me.
Bam, bam. Raphael Dawkins, Combat Radio, and I'm out.
Okay, so I've stopped sharing. Let me drop the link. Let me drop the link. How rude of me. How rude of me. So that was the warm-in video, people. That was the warm-in video with the new information. the newest Lou Dibella interview. And the pertinent point was that, hold on, am I ready for FaceTime? Yeah. Am I ready for FaceTime? Okay, I think so. Let me just line this baby up a little bit. Okay. So the key point and the pertinent point of that piece was that Lou Dibella said that he was under no illusion. He was under no illusion of Al Heyman, PBC, accepting the DAZN offer as tempting. It's more than tempting. What's 100 million? 100 million is more than tempting. That is 100 million is as compelling was the argument to accept the 100 mil. Wasn't enough. Well, no, it's not that it wasn't enough. It's that Lou Dibella said he was under no illusion that they were going to accept, they being PBC, Al Heyman, that they were going to accept the DAZN offer as incredible an offer as it was. Lou Dibella, he was not surprised. He was not surprised that they declined the offer. And here to join me all the way from New Zealand, it's Marla.
How's it going, Referee?
I'm good, matey. I'm good. You got a little bit of an echo going there, but I don't know. But I can still hear you, so that's good. That's good.
Yeah, I'm just checking. I've muted the. How's it now?
No, the sound's good. The sound's good. It's clear.
Cool.
It's clear. It's clear. That's the main thing. It's nice and clear. So Lou Dibella comes out and says, yeah, as good as the offer was, he knew that with Al Heyman being a co-manager, Al Heyman is also one of the managers of Deontay Wilder, not just an advisor. He actually is one of the managers. That information had escaped me. Yeah, he's one of the managers. He's got a bunch of managers. Shelly Finkel is another manager. I think JD's his head trainer is also a part manager. So Deontay Wilder is, if you looked at Deontay Wilder as a pie chart, if you looked at Deontay Wilder as a pie chart, there's a lot of owners.
Yeah, man.
He's got a lot of owners, Marla.
Yep. And they're all in his ear. They're all in his ear, man, feeding him bullshit.
Yeah.
It's sad, mate. It's sad. The fight's never going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen.
It's never going to happen, mate. It's over.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. There was a part of me. Listen, there was a part of me that when they came up, when I heard the figure of 100 million for 3 fights. You see, Before that, I thought it's not going to happen. They don't want it. Deontay Wilder's side, not necessarily Deontay Wilder, but Deontay Wilder's side don't want the fight. And we're joined from Texas by none other than Phil Walker. Phil Walker, how do you do?
Yo, what's up, man? I'm calling in, man, and you always know I definitely want to chime in on this one. I'm just listening right now.
Well, if I get the right titles, I know I will attract the people. I think I've got a pretty good title for this one, even though I can't see. I'm sure I can see. How come I can't? Yeah, Lou Dibella, DAZN, PBC, and Extortion. I'm glad I wrote that. I'm going to come to the extortion part shortly. So, I thought it was never going to happen. That was my original position. Not going to happen. When I saw the amount of times Deontay Wilder declined offers, I thought this fight's not going to happen. If you're confident you're going to beat a guy, you just for 3 belts, for 3 extra belts, you got 1 belt. You're confident you're going to beat the guy overseas. You're going to have all the belts. You are going to be undisputed. And you're quibbling so much, declining every single offer. You don't want it, Marla. You don't want it, mate. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, man. I have no. When I knew when they turned down that $100 million, I knew it was over. It's as simple as that. It's over. See, and the thing, what it boils down to is, as far as Al Heyman goes, they have a business model. They want to keep everything in-house, PBC fighters fighting each other. So no matter who wins the belt, they've got the belt. They can fight on their networks. And it's just a nice, cozy, safe arrangement. They don't want to risk losing that WBC belt, because if they lose that, they got no leverage in the heavyweight division. And it all goes to Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Dazn. And that's what it's about. That's why this fight, I've given up. I've just given up on it, man. I just don't believe it's ever going to happen. Well, what we're going to see this year, we're going to see AJ will fight Pulev first. Then he'll fight the winner of Usyk and Chisora later in the year. Wilder is going to fight Fury. If he beats Fury, he'll either fight Fury again at the end of this year, or he'll fight Ruiz in a PBC friendly fight, or he might fight Dillian White. And that's what we're going to see this year.
I just from the outset, I thought, when I saw the amount of times Deontay Wilder declined, it's just common. Sometimes you just have to revert to common sense. Put everything to one side and just look at the situation afresh from a common sense point of view. Phil, you can come in anytime you're ready. And from a common sense point of view, when I see Deontay Wilder turning down offer after offer, bearing in mind that if he beats Joshua, he then becomes the undisputed heavyweight champion. And when I see him turning down offer after offer after offer, I thought, no, he doesn't want it. He just doesn't want it. Either he doesn't want it, or his handlers, his owners, his the people who have shares in him, they don't want it.
They've got their...
Look, let me jump in. Let me tell you this right here, right? When Deontay Wilder initially turned down the offer from DAZN, I could tell you right now, I was one of the guys that, I was upset with him. I didn't understand why he didn't take that money. I was one of the guys that felt as though it seemed as though he was working. That's the moment he had been waiting on. That's the moment that he had been working for. And when he initially turned that money down, I was extremely upset about that. But I'm pretty sure, it probably has something to do with PBC. Al Heyman making some promises and possibly or possibly not being able to keep them. I just think at the end of the day, if he ended up losing against Fury, that entire opportunity for that $100 million may be, of course, out of the window. Not saying that he still can't get a big fight against AJ somewhere down the line. I just think the guaranteed money in a profession like this, at the age Deontay Wilder is in, with his past injury history, I think it would have been the ideal situation to, of course, take the $100 million and have a chance to be the undisputed heavyweight champ of the world. I was disappointed when he didn't take that offer, but I don't like him any less or any more. I still think he's a wonderful fighter, and hopefully we will get that fight between him and AJ. If not, I just hope that he fights Dillian White at the end of the year, at least, at minimum, for me.
I'll give you another example of a fighter who, Demetrius Andrade and Jamal Charlo. I read today. Hearn sent him an email. PBC said, "Oh, we never heard about it." And Hearn said, "Well, I didn't send you the email. I sent the email directly to Jamal. Offered him $7 million, never heard back. So apparently he's going to look at offering him more. But here's the thing: Jamal has got no excuses, because the latest contract that Andrade signed with DAZN, Andrade, if Jamal can't come and fight on DAZN, in Andrade's new contract, he is allowed to go and fight on another network, as long as after that fight, he has his next fight back on DAZN. So if Jamal can't fight on DAZN, Andrade can fight on Showtime or Fox. So how can Jamal Charlo not want to take part in a unification bout for at least $7 million? What's his excuse?
Look, let me tell you something. And Ralph knows this better than anybody. I have supported Jamal and Jamel from the beginning. More so Jamal because I think he's a better fighter than Jamel is. But I mean, at the end of the day, I talked to Ref about this not too long ago. At this point in time, at this tenure, to me, it is no excuse for Jamal Charlo not to go and fight against Demetrius Andrade. Again, Eddie Hearn right now has probably been more lax and more comfortable in offering Jamal Charlo a fight, considering the terms that he's displayed before him. He did reach out. He did kind of skip the chain of he skipped the chain of demand of command, and he went straight to Jamal. But I mean, considering the past history that Eddie has had with PBC, and I'm just stating the facts, when people saying there's low ball offers and the fighters, you know, actually not knowing what they're being offered till later, and the contract disputes just, of course, falling apart, and the fighter has no idea why, I can understand how he will go straight to the fighter. At the end of the day, these guys from PBC say that they're their own bosses. They make their own decisions. So if I'm a guy and that's the way you present the situation, I don't see anything wrong with going straight to the guy that makes his own decisions. With that being said, Jamal Charlo needs to look at the landscape right now. He's not going to get a fight with Canelo. He's not going to get a fight with Triple G. Okay. His trainers come out and said that they're not interested in fighting Eubanks Jr. You need to take advantage of this situation while you can, because you do not want to let it slip away from you. No excuse right now. No excuse. No excuse. And I support this guy to the fullest, but I cannot support a situation like that when it is clear as day that Eddie Hearn is absolutely trying to make this fight right now is just in PBC and Jamal Charlo's hand. We just need to see what they do within the next week or so. I'll give them a week until I completely start saying, hey, it's a duck. I mean, I don't want to say it, but I give them one more week before I say, hey, man, it's quacking and looking like a duck right now. Okay, I'm just saying, and I always keep it real. And I be honest. I'm always honest, man. And I hate to say this because that's my guy, but that's what it's looking like right now.
Well, I tell you what else it's looking like. I tell you what else it's looking like. It's looking like we're gonna have to accept some simple facts. As a matter of fact, we're gonna have to do some simple maths, quick maths. We're gonna have to accept some simple facts, simple quick maths, and the quick maths is this. It's very, very clear that the PBC is a closed house. It's a closed house.
It is, man.
What was that term they used to use back in the day when the unions were strong? There was a term. It's a closed shop. That's it. A closed shop. Closed shop. If you worked at a certain place, you had to be in the union or one of the unions. There was no coming in freelancing, just doing what you want to do. None of that business. So it's very, very clear now that the PBC is a closed shop. They just don't announce it.
Yeah, they said to Terence Crawford, "You're on the wrong side of the street." Yeah. You know,
that was a big moment. That was a big moment. That was a moment whereby the screen got pulled back. You know, on the stage, the screen got pulled back, and you could see the magician's trick. You could see the trick. It's a closed shop. They pretend it's an open shop. They pretend they can do business with anybody, everybody. And in theory, that is the case. But in reality, that's not the case at all. It's a closed shop. And I mean, going forward, I don't know how I'm going to be able to cover stories like Charlo and Andrade. I don't know how I'm going to be able to cover those stories. I don't know how I'm going to be able to cover Joshua versus Wilder. I don't know how I'm going to be able to cover those stories because even the blind man can see now. Even the blind man can see it's a closed shop. So all the talking that we can do on the topic, it is not going to change the fact that the PBC are operating a closed shop. Charlo isn't going to fight Andrade. Wilder is not going to fight Joshua because Those guys are PBC and they operate in a closed shop. It's a closed shop. They just don't announce it, but the reality is there. And
BFTB has called you out, Rafi. Pronto Boxing.
What? Okay, let me scroll down. This is my problem. I don't keep up with the chat. BFTB has called me out. BFTB and his fat. I'm not gonna say boyfriend. I'm not gonna even say. I'm gonna say BFTB and his plump California friend Cali Enigma. They owe me a visit. So BFTB and his fat friend in California, Cali Enigma, they are overdue. They are overdue over here. So I don't want to hear any foolishness. I don't want to hear any yapping from BFTB over there. He needs to be over here. Hold on. As a matter of fact, Pronto Boxing, tell BFTB this from me. The link is now once again in the chat.
So let me just comment on the closed house kind of deal.
Closed shop.
Closed shop. Now I will say this here. You know, PBC, they do closely monitor who their champions fight. Okay, that's evident. But what promotional or management company doesn't? Now, what I will say this: they don't have a problem sending their good fighters that don't have titles over to fight on other platforms, though.
Yeah,
they will send their other fighters that don't have titles to fight on another platform with the quick, you know. And I think that's the part of their strategy that they implement in order to get the belts, you know. And you know, honestly, I don't see anything wrong with that part of the strategy, but it comes a point in time where both sides, not just PBC, you know, because there's been situations where other promotional companies have been difficult to deal with as well. Okay, we all can admit that.
Yeah.
But it comes a time where both sides have to put the egos aside and give the fighters what they want, because I think the fighters do want to fight one another, and give the fans also what they want, because we're the one that's driving this business. And at the end of the day, we're the ones that's keeping these companies afloat. So
exactly. And the thing is, I remember I was watching in the 90s. I grew up and you had main events, you had Don King. They would work together and make fights happen. You know, they would make it happen. And the Duvas. Yep, the Duvas and Don King, they would work together, even though they were rivals.
Yeah. And
the PBC are not doing that, man. They get the titles, get them in-house, and then keep them there. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's going to kill the sport. It's going to kill boxing.
And that's the reality. That's the reality of the situation. So, you know, I'm in a bit of a quandary now because the Charlo thing, I haven't even touched it. I've got the material. I've done the compilation. I've compiled the evidence. I've got the damn screenshot of the damn Eddie Hearn's phone. But I'm saying to myself, well, hold on a second. That's PBC. That's the way they operate. They're not going to take the fight. It don't matter. We've been talking about Wilder, Joshua for nigh on 2 years now and nowhere closer. It's not going to happen. PBC operate a closed shop. It's not going to happen. So me as a content provider now, I have to think long and hard about how I approach these situations with the Errol Spence's and the Crawford. Errol Spence's PBC is not going to take the fight. How do I cover the story with Charlo and Andrade? Charlo is PBC is not going to take the fight. How do I cover Wilder versus Joshua? Wilder is PBC is not going to take the fight. So, you know, I'm in a kind
of... What's the point? What's the point? We're debating, like we've been going at it for a couple of days about percentages. But we're both wasting our time because it's like, if he doesn't, I don't feel Deontay is worth 50. I agree. I don't think he's worth it financially when you look at what AJ makes compared to what he makes. But giving him 50 is the only even minute hope you have of making the fight.
Yeah.
And
we're gonna have to talk about it.
Yeah, it's just such a quandary. But if you offer him 40, he won't take it and the fight's not going to happen. So you just have to accept that it's over.
So here's the thing with the 50. We've been through this before. We've chopped it up before. I'm going to have to start indexing the boxing talk with Rafis like the Bible. Yeah. You go to this scripture, you go to Luke 15, etc. Because we've chopped this up before. Me, you, Phil, you need to get your profile picture in again, my friend. You need to get your profile picture in again. There you go, Phil Walker. The Boxing Jedi, Big Boys Boxing, John Dealey. We've all chopped it up before. But the thing is, I want to talk about offering a man. Let me pull up something. Let me pull up something and let me share my screen. This is key. This is one of my key points, and we might as well do it now. Let me share this. Let me share this with y'all. Okay, now, boom. Let's go to the dictionary. I don't know how well you can see that. I don't know how well you can see that. Right. So extortion. Extortion is obtaining benefit through coercion. In most jurisdictions, it is likely to constitute a criminal offense. Okay, that's Exhibit A. Let me go over to another definition of extortion. The practice of obtaining something, especially money, through force or threats. Okay, that's a bit hardcore. That's why I went over. So that's Exhibit A, a bit hardcore, but this is the softer version, but it's still extortion. And this is the one I prefer. Extortion is obtaining benefits through coercion. In most jurisdictions, it is likely to constitute a criminal offense. I put it to you. Let me stop shit. Let me leave that up there. Let me leave that up there. I put it to you. I put it to everybody that what we're seeing in a man who clearly, in Deontay Wilder, who's clearly not worth 50%. He's not 50% of Joshua commercially. He ain't it. Maybe 33% at most. So Wilder is around the 33% mark in comparison to Joshua, but he's being offered 40%. So 40%, that's more than you're worth. Nobody should complain about that. But now you're insisting that you get 50%. I put it to you that is what we have before us is extortion. It's an extortion attempt. It is an attempt at extortion. And I also put it to you that in most jurisdictions, I put it to you. Let's go further. Let's go further. Let's go deeper. Let's go crazy. Let's go crazy. I put it to you that if both fighters were forced, the accountants of both fighters were, let's take it back one step further. Okay, let's say Matchroom, Anthony Joshua, Dazn, take PBC to court and say the PBC, Your Honor, Judge, the PBC are trying to extort our company and our fighter. And the judge says, well, what evidence do you have of this? I said, well, we can present to you the accounts of Anthony Joshua, sir, Your Honor, Judge. And we're happy for you to receive the accounts from Deontay Wilder's accountant. And I put it to you, sir, that we are happy for you to adjudicate and look and tell us if Deontay Wilder is worth 40%, much less 50. He's not even worth 40, Your Honor. He's not even worth 40. He's worth 33. We're offering him 40. That's a very handsome offer. But, Your Honor, they're saying to us that we can't get the fight unless you offer us 50%. And, Your Honor, I put it to you that is a clear act of extortion and is illegal in most jurisdictions. Marla.
Yeah, I agree. It is extortion. Like, as a fight fan, I'm talking like to pay him the 50 because I want to see the fight so bad. I know he doesn't deserve 50. He's got one belt. He doesn't generate the money that AJ generates. So I know he's not worth it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've sort of got to a point that I know he's not. I just don't think they're going to give him that 50, and it's over. Sadly, it's just over, mate.
But let's talk about the extortion though. Let's talk about the scenario. Let's talk about the scenario. The zone take PBC to court and says, Your Honor, we are PBC are attempting to extort us.
Yeah, I
know it's the first time anybody's come up with the angle. I understand that. It's the first time anybody's come up with the angle.
I think what the court would say though is that you're free to walk away. You don't have to be extorted. You can just walk away. I think that's what the court would say.
Okay, but I'm going to come back. I'm a lawyer. I'm not going to just take what the judge said, the first opinion. Of course, I'm going to come back. I'm saying, Your Honor, it is traditional. It is traditional in boxing that the champions in the same division always aim to find the undisputed. And Your Honor, we have pressure from the consumer. There is great consumer pressure. The consumer wants the fight, Your Honor. And we are being held over a barrel. We are being, in our words, we are being extorted, or that we are attempted. They are attempting, PBC are attempting to extort us. Let me go over to Phil Walker while you chew that over, Marla.
Look, man. Let me. First and foremost, I don't feel as though it's extortion. And I'm gonna tell you why.
Why? Yeah, break it down.
So if I'm a defense attorney, I would say, well, look, Your Honor, clearly I don't feel as though it's extortion, because if you can go back and you look at history, that Matchroom, okay, now Matchroom Dazn has been overpaying. If you feel as though Deontay Wilder's getting overpaid, Matchroom Dazn used to be just Matchroom, has been overpaying fighters for title for title defenses and in order to get titles for years now. They overpaid Charles Martin. Right now they're overpaying Mikey Garcia, not even for a title. You can go back and lay out numerous examples where that's just something that Matchroom and Dazn is currently doing. So how do you say that's extortion? And I feel as though, as a defense attorney, you cannot put a word on a situation or a fight of this magnitude. So if my fighter feel as though he's worth at least 50%, I don't understand why these guys don't want to ante up the funds. I think Deontay Wilder's worth 50%. I think just to make the fight happen, is worth 50% in order to get it done for the fans.
Who thinks it's worth 50%?
Phil Walker thinks it's worth 50%.
You think? Okay, so we're still in court, by the way. We're still in court. So, okay, you think it's not extortion. Okay, you're the attorney. Okay, Mr. Walker, I'm going to require you to bring the Joshua side. Are going to hand over the accounts pertaining to Joshua fights. And you, Mr. Phil Walker, you will make arrangements to have Deontay Wilder's fight accounts on my desk within 7 days. The sooner the better, but certainly the limit is within 7 days. So I will both have the accounts from each fighter forensically examined, and I will come back and determine the percentage split. Are you happy with that, Mr. Walker? Are you satisfied? Because remember, your credibility is at stake now. Your credibility, Mr. Walker, is at stake now. You have said in a court of law. Remember, you have said this is a court of law. Now you have said in front of me, in front of the judge. I'm acting as the judge at the moment. You have said in front of the judge that you, Phil Walker, the legal representative, can satisfy me through accounts that your client, Deontay Wilder has a value in relation to Anthony Joshua, has a commercial value in relation to Anthony Joshua of 50%. Is that what you're saying to me, Mr. Walker?
Yes, I will say.
Will the accounts show that?
I will say, sir, Your Honor, with all due respect, I will show the accounts as soon as Mikey Garcia and Charles Martin shows their accounts.
Well,
but
they're not germane to this. They're not germane to this. We're talking about when we say
we're talking about the contract though.
No, when we say what is when we're trying to establish what is each fighter's commercial value. And you, Phil Walker, are you saying to me that the accounts will show that Deontay Wilder has an equal commercial value to Anthony Joshua? Because that's what 50% means.
Well, what I will say is this right here. You know, commercial value could be broken down into many different umbrellas. But I would say if you're going to ask me who's the most popular fighter and at the moment the most accomplished fighter, of course, you can't be naive and not say it's not Anthony Joshua. I mean, it's 100% Anthony Joshua. But at the end of the day,
we're talking commercially.
Yeah, exactly.
Commercially.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to finding a dance partner, collectively, I think the 50% is good in order to create a historical moment in history. So I think that commercially, I think Deontay Wilder is worth 50% commercially in this particular moment because of the magnitude of the fight and what it will do for boxing. Yes, I do.
So you're saying, hold on. I want to touch on the point. So you're saying that because the fight's big, Deontay Wilder's worth 50%, but if the fight was smaller, he wouldn't be worth 50%.
No, what I'm saying is if you just take them individually and you measure their commercial value, then you can absolutely probably say that AJ has slighted Deontay Wilder in that regard. But when you combine the two and you create a match, I would say that the commercial value in order to move forward is 50-50. But if you take them on an individual basis, okay, then you can say that you feel as though Anthony Joshua has a slight more commercial value than Deontay Wilder, hence the facts of the exponential paydays as well as the sold out arena.
Yeah, I think commercial value can be measured by the accounts, by the revenue that each fighter brings in. The revenue, how do we measure how much each fighter brings in? A rough measure of that is their income. We know that Anthony Joshua's ticket sales over in the USA far outstripped those of Deontay Wilder in his Fury fight and all of his fights. We know that Anthony Joshua's the actual price of the ticket seats in the USA far outstripped those of Deontay Wilder in his biggest fight in America, Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury. We know that Anthony Joshua is financially the colossus of the two, and therefore in no way, shape, or form could Deontay Wilder be claimed, in my opinion, that Deontay Wilder is anything near 50%. He's more about the 33% mark. That's not the judge now. This is me talking. This is me, Raf, talking. Okay.
So, real quick question. You think Deontay Wilder isn't worth more than Joseph Parker? Because that's about what Joseph Parker got. I
think my original stance, originally I was said that Joseph Parker had one strap, Deontay Wilder had one strap. So they're about similar. However, Deontay Wilder has continued to have wins. He's extended his win streak. And so now, yes, I feel he's worth more than Joseph Parker due to his longevity as a champion. On the one hand, you could say they both had one belt, but on the other hand, you have to give Deontay Wilder some credit, not excessive credit, but some credit because of the longevity of his title reign. So that takes him up. That takes him up from the 33% mark up to a generous 40% mark. That's why
I will be honest with you. I mean, I'll be honest with you. At one point in time, to me, that was the number that I felt as though was fair.
Which number?
the 40% mark. For
Okay.
a long time, I felt as though the 40% mark was fair. But currently, currently, just for the
Phil,
just
Phil,
I mean,
just to butt in for a second. I have to hold you in contempt of court if the accounts don't come up to 50%. I will have to hold you in contempt of court. Well, carry on, Phil.
no, I thought that the 40% was fair for quite some time.
No,
But
carry on. Yeah.
yeah. No, I thought that would have been a fair offer for, a while. But considering everything that has evolved in the heavyweight division, especially if Wilder can get past Fury, I think 50% to me would be the ideal amount of money in order to get the fight done. That's just my opinion.
Yeah,
But for
fair
a
enough,
while though, but for a while, I said 40% can get this fight done. I think because of how long this has been drug out, I think that's probably the worst thing that they could have done. They should have just said, "Hey, 40% from the get go," and just got it done that way. Yeah, stuck with it. Yeah, stuck with it and just been fine. And I think they would have got the fight done. But as you know, PBC, they're going to they use the motto to where, we drag these fights out in order to increase the pot. And currently that's how the situation has evolved. So ultimately it has worked in a sense, but I think the 40% was fair at one point in time, but now I think I'm more along the lines of 50% in order to get the fight done.
He ain't worth it. He's not 50 if he's not an equal partner. He's not an equal partner in this. He doesn't make the money Joshua makes. He doesn't generate the money Joshua generates. He ain't 50% of the thing. He is not 50% of the thing. He ain't 50%. So why should he get 50%? He is 50%, so why should he get 50%? If he's getting 50%, if I'm 60% and I'm giving you 50%, that means I'm taking a 10% cut. Why should I take a 10% cut for you? Why? You ain't no fam. You ain't family.
I'm gonna step away for a second, Ralph. I'm gonna step away.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. That's cool. You ain't family. You ain't kin. You ain't my granddad. You're not my dad. You're not my son. Why am I giving you 10% of my income? Anyway, over to Marla.
Yeah, I think 40% is a fair number. If Parker got 33,
yeah, he got
because Wilder, he does have that concussive knockout power that Parker doesn't have. They both got one belt, but Wilder's got that punching power. So I think 40 is a fair number. Definitely, I really do. Yeah. I went for 50% because as a fan, I'm just so gutted that it'd be such a great fight if it happened. And that, but I think 40% is a true commercial value, Wilder.
Yeah, and we just need to be honest. We just need to be honest with ourselves. What is the man's worth? Just say it like it is. The man is worth 40%. I mean, and that's generous. That's a generous 40%. That's highly generous. And so I have to agree with one element of what Phil Walker said. What did he say? What did he say that I agree with? 40%. He said he originally thought he was 40%. Yeah, and I think 40% is generous. It's over fair. It's extremely fair. It's more than fair. It's generous. Yeah, generous isn't fair. Generous is more than fair. Anything else? Anything else over 40? To me, I think anybody who says give him more than 40 will generally say he's not worth it, but that's what it's going to take to make the fight. And I say, well, hold on a second. Well, that's extortion. Now we're going over into extortion because you're paying a man what he's not worth just because he's holding you over a barrel. Well, that's extortion. And that's my position. So we have to be honest about commercial value. AJ sold out MSG. Yeah, indeed. So commercial value, coercion, extortion. We just have to accept at some point. We just have to call it like we see it. And what we see is the PBC is a closed house. And let's get back to the statement. Let's get back to the root of this live show because it's like a pretty much a one topic live show. Just wanted to do that to cover one subject extensively. and that is that Al Heyman is a co-manager of Deontay Wilder. Another co-manager is Shelly Finkel. Another co-manager is Jay Dees, Deontay's head trainer. So they're all in it together, and they speak with one mind, and it's PBC. The chances of that fight happening is the same as Spence Crawford, is the same as Charlo Andrade, and I think we have to just come to that realization, Marla.
Oh, we do, man. We do. I've come to it the last week or so. I had such high hopes for all those fights, and I've pretty much given up. Like, if I was Terence Crawford, I'd be looking to fight Danny Garcia or Lipinets this year, or Porter if Porter's not with the PBC.
Yeah, Porter's with PBC. Porter's with PBC.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. He'll fight though. He'll fight though. Now he's lost the belt.
Right. Yeah. True. Yeah, man. Yeah. That's right. But for Terence Crawford, I wouldn't even think about a fight with Spence. I really wouldn't, man. You know, I'd look for Lipinets, Garcia, or Porter. You fight two of those guys this year. Yeah.
You see, they're good friends. Him and Porter are good friends. Crawford and Porter, but I think Crawford does indicate. You see, the rule of thumb is rule of thumb. That's not the exact. That's not the term I'm looking for. But the general rule is that I've noticed with fighters, certainly in MMA, the general rule is that I'm not going to fight him because he's my friend. But if it's for a championship, then we'll fight. So when Porter had the WBC belt, that was, we know Crawford has the WBO. But when Porter was a belt holder, that would have been the perfect time for them to fight. If they were going to fight, they could fight for each other's belts. But now Porter has lost the belt. Now he's indicating, I'll fight him because he hasn't got the belt. But when he had a belt, it was a no-go. Now he doesn't have a belt. It's possible. But what's in it for Crawford other than, I think he should still fight him, because there's still, it's a name. It's building resume. And Porter looked very good in that fight. So it's not a step down. I think it would be a good fight.
Oh, that's my attraction for the Porter fight. Yeah, it'll be a great fight. Porter fought a good one against Spence. So I think for Crawford to go up against Porter, again, it'll just be good for his resume. And some people are criticizing Crawford, saying he's not fighting good enough people. I think if he fought Porter and Lipinets this year, what could people say? Yeah.
It's Red Glove Militant cracking me up here. When Phil returns, the bailiff will be waiting with the best set of cops this side of Mississippi. Well, it's kind of contempt of court because the judge is going to be waiting for the accounts which show that the man is 50%, and the accounts will show that he is far less than that. But yeah, that's the best course of action for Crawford. And I'm just, really, this live is just me coming to terms with the reality that Wilder ain't gonna fight Joshua. All the markers. If we look at this scientifically or mathematically, all the markers, everything on the blackboard says Wilder equals PBC. PBC ain't gonna do it.
Yeah. I talked to John. I remember Big Boys Boxing for like 3 years. I've said to him, I really fear this could end up the Riddick Bowe, Lennox Lewis of this era. I've always feared that, and it looks like that's what we're going to get. It's so sad.
That's exactly what it is, and it's not a shock to me because, like I said, when a man in Deontay Wilder's position keeps on saying no, I'm thinking, why? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? You got one belt. You can become undisputed if you believe in yourself. If you believe in your skills throughout history, look at the champions throughout history. Just pick one in that situation. Let's pick Nigel Benn. Nigel Benn's in that situation. He can get 3 for his 1. He can add 3 to his 1. Of course he's gonna do it. And I'm not necessarily saying it's Deontay Wilder because I have a feeling that Deontay, well, it's not more, it's more than a feeling. Deontay Wilder made indications that he was moving towards the DAZN deal when he was first offered. He made statements which indicated that he was going to take the offer. He said, I got two homes, I got kids to feed, I got the schooling. You know, I want money for their children's, for my children's. And all the indications were that he was going to take the 100. He said he'll be back. You know, I might have to go over there, but, you know, I'll be back. And then, obviously, you know, I think we talked about it. I'm pretty sure that we talked about it on the show. I know we did. Then people start getting to him. I remember a show. I'll probably go back and listen to that show. I look at the dates. Between the offer, the DAZN offer, and yeah, I don't even know if I had a damn channel back then. Anyway, maybe, but yeah, I look at the dates, and I remember saying, I don't think he was going to take it. And then that was before the offer came out. And then after the offer came out, it's 100 mil. Everybody was accepting it. Everybody was saying, yeah, it's 100 mil. It's 100 mil. It's going to happen. And then Deontay said what he said. Yeah, it's going to happen. And then slowly but surely, you could see them backtracking. And then you started to realize it's not going to happen. It's actually not going to happen. And the big Showtime thing, I think I must have had a channel because I covered the Showtime thing when Espinosa, they were all in black on the stage, and Espinosa was talking about, yeah, we can't offer him as much as DAZN would offer him, but you know, we're loyal. We're going to make him a good deal, and we're loyal to each other, and that loyalty means a lot, and they're going to go forward. He took the 10 million or whatever, 3 million or 3 to 10 million, whatever it's supposed to be, and took their money and then went over to Fox, never to be seen at Showtime again.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, what I think is the big con with the PBC is we hear how they say that they don't promote the fighters promote themselves. But it can't be a coincidence that all these guys go to PBC, and then all they do is fight PBC fighters. If they've got a title, they just keep it in-house. That's not happening by accident.
It's not an accident. It's not an accident. We put up all the incidences. We put up all the facts on a blackboard or a piece of paper, and you look at them. And you see, it is what it is. It is what it is. They're keeping it in-house. All of this talk was just jerking our chain. All of this talk about putting it up to is a red herring. This 50% is a red herring. That's what they're doing to justify the fight not being made.
That's right.
You know, Wilder got 20 million versus Brazil with the Showtime deal. Because that's says who? Showtime came out and said that. They said they overpaid because they wanted to try to match the offer that DAZN.
Well, let's talk about that. No, Showtime said we can't match the offer of DAZN.
No, they couldn't match the overall offer for the 100 million.
No,
but Wilder got 20 million for Brazil, and that's why you know, Showtime came out and said, hey, you know, that's why Deontay Wilder is currently not fighting on Showtime anymore, because of the simple fact that
they can't afford it. Bankrupt them.
Exactly. Espinosa said, hey, we can't afford to keep doing this. But I think in order to keep just PBC happy in general, they overpaid for Deontay Wilder in order to keep a lot of the other guys in the PBC stable fighting on Showtime as well. Because, you know, they have, I don't know how the contract is set up, but I'm sure Showtime is offered a certain amount of fights per year through PBC. But yeah, Deontay Wilder got 20 million to fight Dominic Brazil. I
don't believe that. I don't believe that. I'm researching it now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm researching it now. How much did Deontay Wilder get paid for the Brazil fight? Because what the figure I had was 10 million. I have seen a figure of 10 million. Deontay Wilder against how much did Deontay make against Brazil? Right, so his first round. Oh, let me share my screen. Hold on. Where is this? Is that there? Okay. Let me put my the invite in the chat again, and then we're gonna share, and then we are going to Share right there, right there, right there. What is this? Damn, you can close that. Okay, right. So where is it? Where is it? Where is it? How much did Deontay Wilder? Okay, so what information you got? Okay, so how much did Deontay Wilder make against Brazil? Right. In his first round knockout versus Dominic Brazil, Wilder reportedly made around 20 million. Update. According to ESPN, Wilder is actually slated to make about 20 million. Okay. Deontay Wilder versus, how much did Deontay Wilder? Okay, this thing is saying 20 million. That's not the figure which I have previously read. I don't know who wrote this. What is this? Forbes? Is that Forbes? Okay, so this is saying 20 million. I have other information. You know what? Let me just write this down as a topic. Because let me just write this down as a topic so I can do some research after this. Wilder versus Brazil, because at the time I covered it and the figure was, I did a video on it and I had the figure at 10 million. So the sources at that time were saying 10 million. This is saying 20. I don't know who wrote it. I'm going to have to do some research and do a video on it, because I think the 20 million figure popped up out of somewhere. I don't know where it popped up from, but at the time it was understood that Espinosa was explaining that he cannot match the DAZN offer for the fight. You see, you said he could not match the DAZN offer overall, but they weren't putting on the Joshua fight, so they weren't in a position to have to match DAZN overall. It was one fight. They had to come as close to matching DAZN for one fight, and Steven Espinosa clearly stated on the stage he cannot match the DAZN figure for the fight. Can't do it. DAZN offered 20 million. Steven Espinosa said we can't match it. I covered the thing. I recorded the thing. I did videos at the time. Steven Espinosa said we can't match it. I had a video where I had sources which said the figure was 10 million. It was never 20. The only time I've heard the 20 is recently. It's like it's a recent thing. At the time, the figure was 10. Now it's doubled. I can't find the source. I'm going to do a research on it and do a video on it, because the figure doubled out of nowhere. Okay.
Well, you know, that's the number I've always had.
Say that again.
I say that's the number that I've always, known was the 20 million.
That's the number being. Yeah. That's the number being touted around now. It wasn't the figure at the time, but I'm interested. I'm curious where the figure of 20 came from when Steven Espinosa said he can't match it. 20 was what he was going to pay. Steven Espinosa said he can't match it, so it wasn't 20 million. But now this figure...
No. Espinosa said he couldn't match the DAZN deal. He could match the Brazil fight, but he also came out and said he overpaid for the Brazil fight.
Yeah, he can't. No. He couldn't do the DAZN deal because Joshua wasn't in the conversation with Showtime. He wasn't in the conversation. So when he said he couldn't match it, it was specifically relating to the Brazil versus Wilder fight. You can't match that.
I don't know about that one. But,
okay, that's okay. We're gonna let that. There's two opinions there. People can hear both opinions and come to their own decisions.
The reality is, he could have taken those 3 fights, guaranteed $100 million. He could have knocked those 3 fights out in 15 months and been a free agent again. After tax and expense of that $100 million, he probably would have pocketed 30 to take home.
Yep.
Just unbelievable that he didn't do it.
Yep. It's he could have took it. He would have been all over by now. It'd have been all over by now, maybe, hopefully. But it's very, 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 very abundantly clear that the fight ain't happening, and this 50%, give us 50% and it's on, is to me a red herring. It's nonsense. And let's talk about, that's another key thing. Let's talk about this. Let me take a sip. Let's talk about this, because there's a few things I want to clear up all in this one show. Right. For Joshua, hold on, let me get in the chat for a second. Yeah, let me get in the chat. Let's catch up with everything. Where are we? Some good comments over here. Saudi Arabia building stadiums for AJ, and Wilder talking about 50-50. White may get the fight before. White might get the fight. Damn, I'd love White to get the fight. Get to fight Josh Wilder. I'd love that. We've already seen Joshua versus White. Already seen that. Happy to see it again. Yeah, happy to see it again. But we've already seen that. Now it's time to see White versus Wilder. Right. So, okay. Where the LDBC at? I put the invite out there. Where the LDBC at? He's still a baby. He's just a baby. He's just new in the game. You've got to give him time. Don't rush him, man. Let him take his time. He's a baby.
The reality is, man, the mask has come off the PBC, and
the mask has slipped.
You can see what they are, man. You can just it's indisputable now.
Yeah,
you know, I don't know how anyone can keep lying about it. And they're a poison. They're a cancer on boxing.
Yep.
They really are, man.
Yep. They're not what they say they are. They're their own little island, and maybe they should have their own PBC belt and just break away. Have your own belt, break away, give all the belts back, the WBC belts, give all the WBC belts back, and have your own thing, PBC over there. PBC.
I agree, man. Yep, I agree totally, man. Just go away.
Yeah. Go make your own belt, make your own fake belt, PBC belt, and go on an island. Go on the island. What's his name was saying Joshua should go on. Dave Allen said,
Dave Allen.
Go on the island. Go on the island. Go on the island. So you admit they overpaid. Yeah, overpaid, but it wasn't. It was 10. I'm saying it was 10. I'm going to look for that. Plenty things to research.
I'm saying it was 20.
You're saying it was 20. Yeah. I don't know where that number comes from, because I did the video at the time. Sometimes I look back at my videos, and the figures I give are always from respected columns. And it was 10. It was 10 back then, and then somehow, somewhere along the way, even though Steven Espinosa said we can't match the zone, everybody knew they can't match it. That was the zone. The zone were overpaying. They were paying. There was probably money in there that the fight wouldn't even generate. So it was natural that Showtime couldn't match it. They said they couldn't match it. But now the revisionist history is saying that they matched it. So I'm going to have to go back and look for sources, and I will present the sources. If it comes up as 20, then so be it. And if it comes up as 10, then so be it. I've seen prices less than 10. So it's an interesting exercise to try to find out exactly what that figure was, because to me, there's no way it was 20. I don't think it generated 20. Somebody's in the hole, in a big hole, and they don't have the pockets like the zone. So
that's why Espinosa said they overpaid, because they definitely probably went in the hole over that fight, because I'm sure they probably gave Brazil at least 1 million, I would imagine. So they $21 million in the hole. And of course, we know the fight didn't generate that. That's why Espinosa said, "Hey, look, we can't afford Deontay Wilder. So we overpaid for that fight." You know.
But like I said, I think the fee didn't generate that. Where did that money come from? I think it was 10 million max, and I think it was actually less than 10. But anyway, I'm gonna do a little search about it. Not now. Probably do a video on it, and then we'll see. I'll come up with some cold, hard facts because I'd be surprised if the fight generated 10. But anyway, so the point that I wanted to make was topic of this little segment here, as we're coming close up to the closing. We're for a good time, not a long time. We're talking about pulling your pants down and getting spanked. Anything over 40% is Joshua walking out to the town square and pulling his pants down to get spanked. Because that's what it is. You're pulling your pants down in public. You're pulling your pants down. You're getting bent over. Anything over 40% to me is you are getting bent over. And to me, it is, you don't sit right. It don't sit right with me. It don't sit right with me. Extortion doesn't sit right with me. Bullying doesn't sit. It's bullying to me. It's like bullying. We're not worth it, but you're going to have to pay us because the public expect it, and we've got you over a barrel. We're blackmailing you. It's extortion. It's coercion. And I say no. I say, get the hell out of here. You're not going to rob me. You're not going to extort me. I'm not bending over for you or anybody else. No, I'm not overpaying you. How about that? How about that? How about I'm going to overpay you up to 40% and not a penny more? How about that? Oh, you don't like that? So what are you going to do? Oh, so you're not going to come, you're not going to fight because you're not going to get more than 40%. So you're walking away from the 3 belts. You're walking away from undisputed, even though you're already being overpaid at 40%. You're already being overpaid at 40%, but you don't want the 3 belts enough. You don't want the 3 belts enough at 40%. Well, so be it. Jog on. Go where you're going. Go where you're going. Scott 70 up in the building. Champ Ross up in the building. The PBC Masters been off for years. People just finally waking up and smelling the coffee. Yeah, the PBC have been masquerading. You see the mask, they've been masquerading. Everybody suspected it. This ain't no shock or surprise to anybody, but but I think people were hoping for the best. You know, you have a situation. You can hope for the best. You hope for the best. It ain't no shock, horror, revelation. It's just now that the truth is undeniable. You can be optimistic. You're hoping for the best, but all it is now is that the truth is now clearly and abundantly clear. I
was hoping for the best day. I just had optimism, man. Yeah. You know, and I knew, things were it was unlikely, but yeah, as you say, it's there. It's so obvious now. You can't lie to yourself anymore. There is no hope, man. Yeah. There is no hope, and I don't support Anthony Joshua giving them 50%. I'm not into the bending over business. I hope he ain't into the bending over. Why bend over for no? Don't bend over unless that is your orientation. Who the hell? Why would you bend over for another man? You don't bend over for no man. You pay a man what he's worth, and you throw a cherry on top of that, but yet that's not enough for you. Get the hell out of here, bro. That's what I say. No 50%, not even 41%. Carry on, Phil.
Oh no. Look, I will say this right here. I understand that this particular fight is a lot different than the other fights that Matchroom, Dazn are currently putting on. Yeah. But I mean, let me ask you this right here: do you think Mikey Garcia is getting overpaid? to go and fight against Jesse Vargas? 7 million?
7. That's a hell of a lot of money. Yeah, that's a hell of a lot of money.
So
that's a hell of a lot of money.
And that's just one example. But at the end of the day, you know what?
What's of it though? What's the significance of that though?
So I'm going to tell you, this is the significance right here.
Yeah.
I will say this right here. I'm happy DAZN has jumped onto the scene and they're paying these fighters the way that they're paying them. I've been a DAZN subscriber from day one. Okay. Yeah. Because they have good fighters. And guess what? If you got good fighters, you put on good fights, I'm watching. I don't give a damn what team you own, who's your manager, who's your promoter. I don't care about that stuff. I care about the sport itself. Now, with that being said, DAZN currently is overpaying a lot of their fighters right now at the very moment. So I think when you say if that's not your orientation, I think right now DAZN orientation is absolutely to overpay these fighters because they're doing it with so many fighters. But I will say that this Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder fight is a bit of a not necessarily an oddball, but it's a different circumstance because it's so much more money involved. But I do feel as though it is somewhat of DAZN's orientation to overpay these fighters. One, to get them to mainly PBC fighters, to get them to come over and fight on their platform in order to grow their platform. And two, just for the sake of the sport and to treat these guys well, which to me that's most important.
Yeah, overpaying. Yeah, I mean, I already think they're overpaying with the 40%. Overpaying, I ain't got a problem with that. But when it's blatantly, when it's being it's blatantly ridiculous. It's blatantly ridiculous that one man who has an economic value of like 33% in comparison to Joshua has the audacity to start acting like he's the boss. He's the boss of the situation. He's the economic power. That's audacious. That's tomfoolery. That's nonsense. He is a small economic power in relation to Anthony Joshua, and he's talking about 50%. Now, that's what we call over in England taking the piss. That's when somebody is doing something blatantly and utterly ridiculous. That's what we call taking the living piss. Now, when someone takes the living piss, you either slap them or you walk away. As a mature individual, you do the latter. You just go, you look at them like you're having a laugh, and you go about your business. You just leave them to it. You just leave them to take the piss by themselves, with themselves. They're not taking the piss out of me. So, in the crudest terms, Wilder pretending. You see, this is all too much pretense. The PBC pretending as if they're interested. Wilder having the audacity to pretend as if he is Joshua's economic equal when he is so far down the road. He's just a spot in the distance. You know what I'm saying? That's the reality. He's nowhere near Anthony Joshua's economic value. Nowhere near it. 33% max. Might not even be that. But be nice. Say 33%. Then give him 7% on top of that. That's 40%. That's ample. You see, you cannot in life. You can't be doing stupid things because the stupider you act, the stupid offer like 50%. Is the stupider people are going to treat you. You act like a dummy, you start acting like a dummy, you're going to get treated like a dummy. 50% dumb move, he ain't worth it. Let's be factual. Deontay Wilder is around the 33% mark. You start acting dumb and bigging up the dude to even entertaining 50%, and you've made a rod for your own back. And that's bending over for bending over for some dude. Why would you do that? Don't do that. Don't do that. If Wilder don't won't accept the 40%, then they just have to leave him to his own devices. They say the 40% is there when you want it. If you want it, you know where we are. And we know PBC don't want it. So all this talk is academic. They don't want it. They're not going to take it. Offering 50%. And one argument is offering 50%. And if he says no, then we know it's all over. Then we know. If he says no, and we know. I say, yeah, you could do that. But I say what I would do is not offer him 50% because you already know it's going to be no. You stick to the reasonable, what you can reasonably afford, 40%. You're giving 40%, which is reasonable. And anybody with any logic will say that is reasonable. And if he goes against that, then that's on him. Because we already know he's not going to take the fight anyway. So why bet now?
But look, I'm sorry, my bad, brother. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Marla.
Yeah. You know what the problem is for PBC? One of the big problems they don't have a follow-up heavyweight if Wilder loses to AJ. They don't have a young gun coming up that can come back and take the belt back off AJ and bring it back to PBC. They know all they've got's Deontay.
We thought that would be Ruiz. We thought that would be Ruiz at one point.
Yeah, it hasn't happened.
Well, I mean, look, I'll go back to something you said the other night, Ralph, when I was on the channel on Wednesday.
Yeah.
When something doesn't go your way, you bring it back and you negotiate. And I think at this point, honestly, I think Eddie Hearn is just completely wore out on this particular situation. And I think he knows that 50% is going to help him rest easy at night if the fight doesn't happen. You're going to say, hey, look, we tried. We did everything that we could. And it just didn't happen. So that's just how I think he's looking at it, similar to how he did with the Andrade Charlo. He said, hey, look, I offered this guy $7 million, and he said no. We've done everything.
We've done everything. I mean, the talking should have stopped a long time ago. The talking should have stopped a long time ago. You make the offer and you leave the person to their own devices. You can't keep battering someone over the head. They're throwing money at the guy. They're throwing money at Wilder, and you're just like, nope. You just can't keep banging your head against a brick wall. I think Phil's busy at the moment.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, when you look, I said the other day, you look at Evander Holyfield and Riddick Bowe, they fought 3 times in 3 years. Yeah. We've been at this for 3 years. We haven't seen one fight.
I haven't seen one damn fight. And let's talk about the Riddick Bowe thing, because we're just mashing all of this up in one go. Everything I think of, we're mashing it up. This is going to be the go-to show for the breakdown. This is going to be the definitive argument. This episode will be the definitive show for a comprehensive breakdown of this situation. So we're throwing everything in there right now. So Riddick Bowe for this now title of this piece. Riddick Bowe versus Anthony versus Lennox Lewis didn't happen. That's the title. That should be the title of this piece. Okay, this portion. Okay, as we come into the close. Okay, so right now that's true. Riddick Bowe, Lennox Lewis never fought. What happened? Negotiations failed. Riddick Bowe took his WBC belt and put it in the garbage can. That then became Lennox Lewis's belt. Now, to this day, there's an argument that says, well, hold on a second. Anthony Joshua, he might get, people might look at him funny because he never fought Wilder. Well, to this day, people know that it was Riddick Bowe who walked away. Lennox Lewis doesn't get any flack for that because he was the unified champ who went on to be the undisputed champ. And Lennox Lewis gets no flack for that because he wasn't the one who walked away. He was the unified champ. The one belt champ, he's the guy who got the flack. And he took that one belt and put it in the garbage can. And I put it to you, I put to anybody in the chat that guy will be Deontay Wilder. He refused to step up and become undisputed. Now, before I push that over to you, Marla, we do have an LDBC guy in here, finally. Let me put the link in the chat just in case he wants to jump on. Okay, Cristiano Wu. It's safe to say AJ's about the money and Wilder's about legacy. Well, that's nonsense. That's complete and utter nonsense. Because Wilder used to say, it's about legacy, not the money. And then he switched it up and said, no, forget about legacy. It's about the money. Yeah. So Cristiano Wu, you're all at sea, my friend. You're all at sea. Marla, Bo is the one who is seen as the bad guy in the Lennox Lewis situation.
He is totally, man. I mean, yeah, Lennox takes no criticism for that. Everyone knows who threw that belt away. Rock Newman was in Bo's ear, and Bo fell for it. And he threw the belt, so yeah, he's the one who slagged off. And Lennox has gone down in history. He's got big respect as a fighter.
Absolutely, you know? He was the unified. He was the unified. Yeah, we had the WBC guy versus the unified guy. Does that ring a bell? Does that ring a bell? You know what I'm saying? You know, it's history, man. It's history repeating itself, man. Okay.
It's just sad. It's just sad as fight fans that we don't get to see the fights. That's the sad thing, you know.
It's sad, but at the same time, if I know, to me, I equate this whole situation. It's like this whole situation. I mean, I can use an analogy and say it's like a girl. The situation is like a guy who wants to date a girl. The girl doesn't want the guy, but she doesn't really tell him she doesn't want him, but she gives him enough to make him think that he's got a chance. But in reality, he doesn't, because she knows she don't want it. But you know,
let me. Oh, go ahead.
And this situation just reminds me of that. The girl don't want it, but she gives enough to give the guy the impression she might want it. And you're always wondering, well, does she or does she not? You know what I say in those situations? Walk away.
Yeah, you're wasting your time, mate.
You're wasting your time. Walk away.
So to answer your question about the Bo Lewis deal, look, let me tell you something, man. Look, Lennox is my guy, man. You know, I mean, I love Lennox Lewis. He's one of my favorite fighters of all time. Okay. I like the style in which he fought in, and when he, of course, had proper training camps, right? Because we all know if Lennox didn't have a proper training camp, it showed on fight night. But with that being said, we all know Bo was definitely absolutely the difficult party in that particular situation. I know for a fact Lennox wanted that fight. And you know, the saga hunts them both because they don't get to say who was the better of the two. But with that being said, the fault falls on the head of, I feel, the Bo and his camp, because you know that whole situation was bad. I think Riddick Bowe was too difficult to deal with, and unfortunately, as fight fans, we didn't get it, and we're still talking about it 20 years later.
Yeah, but you know, Bo comes out of it. The one belt guy comes out of it pretty bad. You know, he didn't step up to become unified. And I say, and I put it to you, that when you don't step up to become unified, history remembers that and judges you harshly.
Well, look, let me tell you something. Let's be honest about this, right? When you really look at it and you break down both of their careers, okay, the difficult guy is Bo, and then you look at Lennox Lewis and everything that he accomplished, you see the difference, because Lennox right now is living on, you know, at the he's living pretty much on a mountain right now in Jamaica. Okay. He has a wonderful career. He has his legacy. He has he was the undisputed champion. I mean, he has everything that any person that jumps into this sport would desire to have: fame, wealth, and he has his health, most importantly. Okay. And then you go across the street and you look at Riddick Bowe, and he has, I don't know what he has, but it seems as though he doesn't have the you know, the things that
are impaired.
Exactly,
are impaired.
Yeah, you know, so I mean, at the end of the day, you get in what you put out, and Lennox Lewis put his life into boxing, and as a result of that, you can visibly see that it's tangible. You can touch it. Okay, versus in Bo's situation, he's going to go down as a great fighter. He's also a Hall of Famer, Hall of Fame fighter, and he was good for his time. But when you go and you talk about legacy, this is when legacy is really, really important, because Lennox Lewis outshines him and overshadows him like an eclipse. And that's just the fact of the matter.
Yes, indeed. And like I say, when you don't step up, my hypothesis is when you don't step up to try to become unified champion in the heavyweight division, history remembers it and judges you harshly.
I just have to comment. There was someone Shizbiz said Bo knew the WBC is crooked. The thing is, it was in the contract. Bo fought Evander Holyfield the first time. It was in the contract that whoever won fought Lennox Lewis.
Yeah.
And Bo won the first fight with Evander, so he was obligated to fight Lennox, and he threw the belt away.
100%. And Cristiano Wu, our LDBC guy, what does he say? Wilder's about to fight Fury for the second time. The guy who outboxed and humiliated? Okay, Vladimir Klitschko. Meanwhile, AJ and his team are bragging about how they made a lot of money for fighting Andy Ruiz. I'm going to go around the table real quick. One-word answer. Have you heard AJ mention anything about his purse for the Ruiz fight? Marla?
Nope.
Same question to Phil Walker.
I got two answers to that.
All right.
No, and if he did, so freaking what? He earned it.
Yeah, well, the correct answer is no. And the correct answer is he earned it as well.
When you talk about legacy, AJ's overall record for quality of opponents is better than Wilder's.
Yes. Hands down.
You know?
Hands down. And,
I'll give Wilder his props for fighting Fury.
Yeah.
He fought Ortiz when no one else would fight Ortiz, and Ortiz was undefeated. I'll give him props for that.
Yeah.
He fought Fury, got on him. He's fighting Fury again. I'll give him his props. But when you look at the consistency of his record against AJ's fought more consistent quality of opponent.
Hands down, and for a longer period.
You know, hey, look, I tell you what, I've never heard anybody break it down in the manner, and you know what? I thank you for saying it the way you said it, because you know that's absolutely true the way you broke it down. I like that. That's absolutely a fact.
Yeah, it's factual. It's factual. AJ will make millions fighting anybody, and Wilder has to realize he can't stop AJ making his money. That's a good point, and it comes on to this point. Joshua stated his ambitions of becoming a billionaire. He can't achieve that without fighting Wilder. I beg to differ. Scott, me old buddy. I beg to differ. It would be a big fight. It might be one of the biggest fights financially for AJ. But look, Anthony Joshua's opening up the worldwide market. He's opening up the worldwide market. So I put it to you. I put it to all ensembled parties that with that Joshua continuing to be a vanguard, continuing to lead the pack into new territories, that are more than happy to pay generously, handsomely for his services. I put it to you, my dear friend, that I put it to you, Scott, that whilst there may be an element of truth in what you say, I still think that Anthony Joshua will forge his own path. I still think that when it becomes clear around the world, as it must be getting clear now, that Deontay Wilder isn't actually really in the pack. PBC guys, they're on an island to themselves. When people realize that, they'll say, okay, well, what's the best? They're still who are the rest? Who are the rest? And when you look in the heavyweight division, it is action packed. It is packed to the rafters. We got people like Dubois coming up. We got people like that. If he keeps winning, then that's going to be massive. He's going to be on par. That fight will be on par with Fury versus Joshua in a few years' time if Dubois keeps on winning. That's going to pack out the biggest stadium in the UK. That's massive. We've got a host of heavyweights. The heavyweight division right now is action. Let me share my screen. The heavyweight division right now is healthier than it's been in a long time. Look at this. Let's go. Let's start at 20. Joe Joyce. Charles Martin again. The rematch. Everybody ready for the rematch? Um,
Hell no.
Gerald Washington, okay, forget about him. Christian Hammer, okay, forget about him. Oscar Rivas, he's a name. Dominic Breezel, okay, forget about him. Joseph Parker, he's a name. Philip Hergovic, he's a big name that could sell out some massive stadium in Europe somewhere down the line. Michael Hunter, yeah, is a respectable clash. Adam Kawanaki, that would sell out the stadium in the UK. The Adam Kawanaki fight. Derek Chisora, Luis Ortiz, yeah, that would sell out the stadium in the UK. Kubrat Pulev will sell out the stadium in the UK. Anthony Joshua is going to continue to sell out stadiums. Alexander Povetkin, he sold out the stadium with him. It was like a few thousand short. The LDB were rejoicing. They were jumping up and down. They were dancing in the streets. Anthony Joshua's finished. It didn't sell out the stadium. And that was some technicality with coaches. People didn't want to go coaches, but they had to keep 10,000 seats allocated for coaches. So, yeah. Dillian White, the rematch. That will sell out the biggest stadium in the land. A few years down the line, Andy Ruiz, if he strings 3, 4, 5 top 10 wins together, boom, he's going to sell out in the UK if he comes to the UK. Tyson Fury, massive sellout. You see the picture? Alexander Usyk, massive sellout. Deontay Wilder, he ain't going to have it. So there you go. So let me come back. Let me stop sharing. So the future, my friend. Remember those old orange adverts, the orange phone? The future is bright. The future is orange. The future's bright. The future's bright. I mean, if AJ keeps on winning, the future with or without. Damn, that was a song that keeps on coming into my head by U2, with or without you. With or without you. With or without you, Wilder, the future is bright. You know, Wilder could make himself a bit part player again like he was before. Wilder could make himself a bit part player again like he was before.
Yeah, you know, look, Ralphie, I've always said this because I'm not oblivious to the fact that, I mean, you know, AJ moved some furniture around and he made his name known in boxing, not just the heavyweight division. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's to me, you know, man, it's amazing what Eddie Hearn and he did in such a short time span. I mean, let's be honest about this. Whether AJ fights Deontay Wilder or not, AJ is going to keep on making his money, you know, I think at this point it's probably his minimum purse would probably be 20 million against, I mean, you know, whoever, you know, so I mean, at the end of the day, man, he is a large part of boxing now. He's a household name in boxing, and you know, the future is bright for the young man because the future has been bright. As long as he keeps winning and he keeps doing the things that he's doing, I mean, he's going to keep making money, and that's just unfortunate for Deontay Wilder because I know Deontay Wilder wants this fight, and I think Deontay Wilder needs this fight in order to cement his legacy. Honestly,
These people don't share your view. This PBC don't share your view, Phil.
Yeah, they don't care, eh?
They don't care.
They don't care, man.
They don't care.
Well, you know, I mean, I don't
they
know if
do what's in PBC's best interest. PBC do what's best for PBC.
It was like Ortiz. What happened with Ortiz? Remember with the Jarrell Miller tested positive for drugs and they offered Ortiz like 7 million or something, and then it wasn't accepted. Then Ortiz didn't even know about it.
Yeah, you know, and that's why I mentioned that earlier when I said I didn't see anything wrong with Eddie Hearn going straight to Jamal Charlo, considering that I didn't name that situation, but that situation in particular. You know, I don't if your management is not telling you about the offer, how you're supposed to know about it. So I didn't see anything wrong with Eddie Hearn going straight to Jamal Charlo, but once Jamal Charlo, well, let me tell you first of all, let me just go into this real quick. I didn't like how they came out and act like Eddie Hearn was lying, and it was an invisible conversation or invisible offer that Eddie Hearn was talking about. Jamal Charlo got online and said that, you know, he didn't hear anything. His team got online and said they didn't hear anything. So now you're questioning the individual's credibility in Eddie Hearn, and I think that's why Eddie Hearn came and showed the messages, because that's just that wasn't right the way they handled that by saying they had never heard anything, when clearly Eddie Hearn had the proof, and clearly the offer is real. So yeah, I don't see anything wrong with going straight to the source if, like I said, if you're your own boss. Now, you need these other parties to look over this stuff, because that's not your profession. Your profession is boxing. But at the end of the day, Eddie Hearn did not lie about that situation, and you know, those guys tried to make it seem like he did. He called their bluff, and he showed that, hey, look, I am credible. It is an offer. He turned it down. That's not my fault. That's his, and I commend him for that. Nothing wrong with that.
And they didn't, you know, the reason they didn't, or if the PBC didn't tell Ortiz about that offer, the reason was because they already planned to sacrifice him against Wilder in the second fight. You know, they had their own plans, man. That's why they did.
Hey, look, and let me tell you something. I disagree with that, and I'm gonna tell you why. I think Ortiz was, again, I don't think Ortiz was well, right around the time where Big Baby Miller failed all those drug tests. I don't think Ortiz was in shape to go and fight against Anthony Joshua. I think that's partially the reason why his team turned that fight down and didn't tell Luis Ortiz about it, because I know for a fact Luis Ortiz would have took that fight against AJ in shape, no shape, or I think he would have took it. But his team, I think, didn't have confidence that he could probably beat AJ in the kind of condition he was in that very moment. And at the end of the day, they probably said, we're just going to take our chances against Deontay Wilder because we think he can actually beat him, and he's going to have a full training camp, which, you know.
But the thing is, though, that Ortiz is a growing man and a fighter, and they should still go to him and say to him, well, look, you've got this offer being put to you. Do you want it? Do you want it?
Yeah, instead of treating him like some kind of punk and keeping him out of the loop.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
Treating him like some little boy on the plantation. You know what I'm saying? On Uncle Al's plantation. They don't have to know. They don't have to. They probably don't even know how to read and write English. You know what I'm saying? So he's like so they're just treating him like some kind of boy, treating him like a boy rather than a man. You know, and that's totally unacceptable. It's the 20th century.
Yeah, I didn't agree with that. They should have told him about that was being offered, because he had no idea. But that's the PBC for you. That's the PBC. That's how they operate. And I think I'm here for a good time, not a long time. And I think I covered all the main talking points that I wanted to cover on this, because it's a one subject show. I just want to.
Here we go. Christian said 10 years from now, people will remember the top fighters that fought each other, not the guy who focused on money. People will remember AJ.
He's the guy he's a top fighter. He's fighting the top guys. They're going to remember the guy who fought the top guys. Mathematically proven. Anthony Joshua has a better resume, has fought tougher opponents than Deontay Wilder. Mathematically proven. Yeah? Mathematically proven. Cristiano Wu. What part of that is troubling you, my friend? What part of that are you struggling with? So Joshua, a better opponent, and he's getting paid better. He's getting paid more. Carry on.
Look, let me address that right there. Of course, it's only going to be one Floyd. We understand that. But at the end of the day, Eddie Hearn's not trying to create another Floyd, because at the end of the day, Floyd was his own boss in the end. That's why he got paid the way he did. If Eddie Hearn creates another Floyd, then Eddie Hearn would be essentially giving away his prized possession. So, with that being said, Eddie Hearn is doing good business with a good fighter, and at the end of the day,
great fighter.
At the end of the day, Anthony Joshua has put in the work, and he's earned what he's getting, man. I'm not going to ever.
Why the hate? Why the hate on the man's pocket?
If he getting his money, man, let him get his money, man. I don't see. It should be, if they want to pay him $500 million to fight his next fight, I don't see anything wrong with that, man. Let him get his money. I don't care about it.
Well, let's explain how economics works. Let's explain how economics work. You can't get paid anything you don't generate normally. Yeah? Normally, you can't get paid anything you don't generate normally. So what he gets paid is what he generates. And matter of fact, he's the one who cuts the checks for Eddie. He cuts Eddie a check. Yeah? He's got his own management team. I don't think you guys realize, LDBC guys realize how much of a say Anthony Joshua has in his career. I don't think you realize. I really don't think you realize. He's not a farmhand. Don't get it twisted. He's not a farmhand. He don't get told what to do. He gives Eddie his instructions. You know, so don't get it twisted. Do not get it twisted, Cristiano Wu. Marla. I think we're coming and Phil Walker. I think we're coming to the end of the show. This show was strictly a one-topic, well, essentially a one-topic show, because there's lots of developments with anybody who hasn't seen my video of Lou Dibella once again exposing the PBC. You know, and let's remember what the title of the piece is. It's Lou Dibella, Dazn PBC and extortion. I've talked about the extortion. The extortion, to me, the extortion element is PBC insisting that Deontay Wilder gets paid above his economic split. His economic split is probably something like 33%. They're offering to pay him 40. He says no dice if it's not 50. And the people expect the fight. It's a form, to me, it's a form of extortion. It's attempted extortion. I've shown you the definition of extortion. Let me go and see again where the definition is. There's too many windows. Can't find it. Yeah, coercion. Coercion. It's in the beginning of the show. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Extortion is obtaining benefit through coercion. In most jurisdictions, it is likely to constitute a criminal offense. And we've been through that. What else we got? Where are we? Oh, let me stop that thing. It's making me. Let me cut that thing out right there. It's only supposed to be on for a few seconds. Where are we? That's Cristiano Wu. Wilder and Fury have both fought nobody outside of themselves. Fury has one good win and Wilder has one decent win, and that is it. These guys can't stand to see AJ making that good green money. AJ has more potential than Floyd had commercially. Damn, that's a strong and bold statement, but Bitcoin Boxing knows his shizzle. Is one of the people who have connected with me on Twitter and sends me little links from time to time. Quite a few people send me little links from time to time. If I don't respond to the link that you sent me, it ain't nothing bad. I kind of keep them stocked up, and sometimes I say, yeah, this one's a good one for that situation. So I appreciate everybody who has taken the time out to follow me on Twitter. I appreciate everybody who sends me links. And for sure, everybody, Floyd never even left America. Yeah, I never left America. Damn, that's a good point. Floyd Mayweather sold to the people. That he's his own boss, but in reality, he was managed by Al Heyman. Boxing is supposed to be a sport first, not a sideshow. I don't understand what your point is. What's this sideshow? What are you talking about, sideshow? Where's the sideshow? Where's the sideshow? The sideshow is us continually having to guess and second guess what's going to happen because the PBC don't play straight. They don't play straight. Wilder and Fury wouldn't have been beaten by Ruiz at MSG. Wilder and Fury, the guy who almost got beat by Otto Wallin. Yeah, any other ref would have stopped that fight with that cut. So Fury, the guy who almost got beat by Otto Wallin, wouldn't have got beat by Ruiz. Well, hey, maybe. Wilder wouldn't have got beat by. Damn, Scott, you got a crystal ball, bro. You know, let me give you another one. Mike Tyson will not get beat by Buster Douglas. You see what I mean? You see why that doesn't work, Scott? You see why that doesn't work, Scott? Hey, Scott, and I'll give you another one. If Wilder insists on not fighting Joshua, then Wilder is going to get beat by someone who you'd have never thought would have beaten him. How's about that one? In any other sports, teams don't get the option to avoid certain teams. Exactly. You play for the championship, so tell your boy Wilder to sign on the dotted line. Yeah, I appreciate that. You call it like you see it, and I appreciate that, Scott. You know that. Wilder will get beat in his next fight. I don't know when he's going to get beat, but, you know, it's, hey, Wilder, if Wilder keeps on avoiding Joshua, he's going to get beat by someone who you didn't think was going to beat him. How's about that one? That's the nature of the game, my friend. That's sports. Strange things happen.
Yeah, I mean, strange things happen. Andy Ruiz beat Joshua, and Joshua embarrassed him the second time around. That's just how things happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, strange things happen. You can't predict these things. Who would have predicted that? Who would have predicted that Mike Tyson was going to get beat by James Buster Douglas? Who would have predicted that? I
remember sitting there watching it live, man.
Yeah,
no one could believe it.
That was horrible. Yeah. That was weird. That was mad. But you know what? Yeah, this is nice. I didn't think it would last this long. It's one topic, but I think we had to chop and dice it. So what I'm going to is a lot of people still in here, but you know, I think 2 hours is ample.
Yeah,
I would laugh if Wilder got beat by a huge underdog. Well, that's what's going to happen. If you don't fight Joshua, somewhere along the line, someone's going to beat him, and it's probably going to be somebody you didn't think would beat him. That's how it works.
Well, Dillian White is slated to come up, hopefully at the end of the year, and then we'll see.
We'll see. You know, because I don't see him fighting.
That's y'all guy. Don't worry, we welcome him with open arms.
Hey, we might be welcoming your guy. We might be welcoming your guy over here. We might be welcoming your Eddie. Hey, you saw the welcome we gave him last time, didn't you?
Hey, look, we welcome him with open arms, and then we carried him out in the casket. That's what it is.
You saw the welcome we gave Deontay the last time he was here. Hey, let's not talk about Chicken Gate. Let's not talk about Chicken Gate. I heard that Deontay's jacket smelt of what do you call it? Spicy lemon. I think it was some kind of spicy lemon chicken that he got salted with. But hey, that's for another show. Yeah, this is good. This is Boxing Talk with Rafi After Dark. I didn't know how it was gonna go. I never don't do Fridays anymore as a rule. I just thought, what the hell? I've got things on my mind, things I want to talk about. Why not go live? People like to see live shows. It's like a radio show. You get some music in the background, you get a bit of singing, the singing intro for you. I gave you a little bit of singing in the beginning. And you get guests on here today. We are blessed with the presence of Marla and Phil Walker. And much appreciation for the panelists who come on here each and every time when they have time. And of course, what did Scott just say? Tyson nearly had Douglas out of there. He dropped him in the 8th, but that was against the run of play, and then Douglas just got back up and carried on working. But yeah, it's you guys. But before we do that, much appreciation to you guys on the panel. Your final words, Marla.
Oh boy, I was just looking forward to the Fury fight in 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's something.
Gonna be big, man. Gonna be big, man. Yeah,
we got to. You know, that's gonna happen. And even that, even the joy of that fight, that's been taken away a little bit for me, because knowing there might be a third fight for no reason.
I know. I don't want it, eh? I don't
Yeah.
want the third one, man.
It's like I care less about the fight now, because I know this is just another ploy. This is just another. It's just more wasting of a time. It's more. I'll watch the fight, but it's just more time when these guys are not fighting the other top guys. You know, Deontay Wilder's not fighting Dillian White. He's not fighting Joshua. I don't expect him to fight Joshua ever now, so that's over. Not a penny more than 40%. No bending over. 40% or do one. No bending over in the rematch. Obviously, you can. That's a different matter. But if he wins, then he becomes the A side. Fine, no problem. But the first fight, principle is principle. I'm not gonna. Nobody's pulling down their pants for you, bro. Nobody's bending over for you. So we got that. But the Fury fight, but the edge has been taken off that, because we know it seems like a time wasting thing now. If they do the second fight and then just go their separate ways, or maybe have a third fight a year from now, fine. But in the meantime, you got to fight top opponents. So Wilder needs to fight Joshua, and Fury, well, he's got no mandatories, has he? He's got no mandatories. So, yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I went off on a tangent there, but yeah. You were talking, Marla. It was you.
Yeah. No, just looking forward to that fight. And I mean, obviously, it's really sad with how things have turned out with the PBC. I think we've had to come to the conclusions we've come to, and as fans, I don't know what we can do about it. We got to suck it up and wear it. It's terrible. Yeah. I'm kind of getting emotionally detached from the possibility of a Joshua Wilder fight. Yeah, I'm detached from it, man. I've reached that point. I'm detached. Pablo Diablo saying yes, doing a graveyard shift for the people. I just thought I'd drop an unexpected live on the Friday and see how people responded. Didn't know if anybody was going to come, but people came. Build it, and they will come. So your final word on that? You detached, Marley? You detached? Yeah, I've given up on it, mate. I'm detached, mate. I'm detached. Game over. So thank you to Marla, and over to Phil Walker. Your final words, Phil.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with you guys being detached, and I'm definitely 100% detached from a third Fury Wilder fight. I just hope Wilder just does them so bad to where we do not have to sit through that, and we can push along these other great fights that could be made in the heavyweight division. Charlo, please fight Andrade. I can't defend you anymore, brother.
Ain't happening. DBC.
The next thing, with that being said, I'm looking forward to all the stuff that's gonna happen in 2020.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing Earl Spence Jr. Come back. Hopefully he comes back just like he left off. I'm hoping for his health. I'm curious to see who Floyd's going to fight this year. I'm curious to see what Manny Pacquiao, the legend, the living and fighting legend Manny Pacquiao is going to do in 2020. 2020 is going to be a special year in boxing. And I'm going to end it off by saying Bomb Squad.
Oh, man. You almost made me end the live by accident just there. I almost pressed the wrong button. Damn it, threw me. Well, you know what we call Bomb Squad? We call them Flop Squad. It's Flop Squad over here, bro. But, them numbers got to get your weight up. Got to get your weight up, Wilder. Stop pretending you're 50%. You're only 33, bro. Anyway, total appreciation to everybody who joined me on the panel today. Much appreciation. And, of course, without you guys, this thing, we'll be talking to ourselves. We'll be talking to ourselves. Not that is necessarily a bad thing. So it has been Boxing Talk with Rafi. Should call this one After Dark. Lou Dibella, Dazn PBC, and Extortion. Those were the subject matters. And where are we? Which number was this? 91. Boxing Talk with Rafi 91. After Dark. Little special something for you guys. Okay, so who we got? So, yeah, It's the no. I always make that mistake. There's something I have to do over here before I go over there. And I got to get this thing set up nicely. Where is it? Where is it? Where I'm looking for? I know exactly where I'm looking for. And there it is. Okay. So where is it? Yeah. It's the Pablo. It's the Scott 70. It's the Bitcoin Boxing. It's the Juicy Kid. Sorry, the Gucci Kid. It's the Shiz Biz. It's the Vizzo. It's the Cristiano Wu. It is. Who else we got? Who else we got? Uncle Burnt Apostrophe. Okay. That's a long name. And we're scrolling up. There's so many names. So many names who passed through today. It's the Red Glove Militant. And it's the Pel Grosso. I think that's a new subscriber, unless I'm mistaken. Okay. And many, many, many more. It's Boxing Talk with Rafi. 91. Boxing Talk with Rafi after dark. And the only thing that's left for me to say is blessed.